Hello everyone, in today's video we are beginning our Splunk series on RangeForce, where we are going to go over the modules and respond to the tasks they provide us in the modules. So let's begin with the first module, which is the Splunk Basics, where we are going to discuss about the Splunk interface and how we can log in and navigate and do some basic queries. So here will be the Splunk link to the web app, where you can provide your credentials and you'll be prompted to this web application. So that's gonna be the main page, and then we can go on and do our search and reporting, where we are going to be mainly focused on doing our tasks. So searching. So here we have the search bar, and here is the main app components in here, and also we'll have the timer in here, where we can apply the first filter, which is the timer. Alright, so here it says that, for example, the Splunk will provide the events in the time based on your location. So if you want to change the location time, you can go on the web link and change the location. Like, for example, by default it will be US, but if you are in Great Britain, you can just do Great Britain, and it will change for the particular location timestamps. So that's what it says, and it asks us to provide to select all time in the time picker. So here is the time picker, and we select the reconfigured presets for the time frame. So you can select all time, and it asks us to look for the failed entries, all the failed events. So if we introduce the failed, it will provide us all the events that contain this keyword inside. So we can see we have 49,964 events. Next step, it's gonna be the timeline, field bar, and main events. So here is the timeline bar, which you can look at the events for on the particular time frame, like you see by date, and it's gonna tell you counts of events. And then we have the fields, where we can select the fields that we want to look into, and we have 3 fields by default, which is host, source, and source type. And here is the event details in here, and you can expand and see even more information inside that field. So for the hosts is typically the host name or the IP address and fully qualified domain name. And for the source, it will be the name of the file or stream from which the event originates. And for source type, the format of the data input from which it originates, such as Cisco syslog. So the source type determines how your data is to be formatted. And you have like interesting fields, and they will change, like it depends on the source type, they will change the interesting fields. And here is like all fields, where you can come and add some of the fields that you want to see them in the selected fields. And you can search in here, like if you look for a specific field. And if you want to see the same, you can just expand in here, and you can see like 19 more fields available to be displayed in here. So here we got a couple questions to answer. What is the date of the most recent event? So here is the date of the most recent event, because the most recent event will be provided on top. what is the source of the most recent event. So for the source, I mean, you can look here for source, but we have two, but we can see the source in here as well. And what is the username of the most recent failed login? So the username will be here inside the event itself. You can expand and see it, but you can see it says user and Ubuntu. And also, if you don't know some questions, you can ask for hints in here. If you don't know the answer for a certain question, or you may have some need for any help, it's right here. Alright, so multiple term searches. So you can introduce multiple searches inside the query bar. For example, failed root. So the search will look for everything that contains failed and root at the same time inside the event. So we can see like the events, we have 7,283 events that contains failed root search terms. Alright, so this search should show you how many failed events are associated with the root account. So how many of them? 7,283. Alright, so the multiple term search don't care about order or position in the payload. Put question marks around the phrase if you want to find a particular phrase. So if you look for a particular phrase inside this event, you can use the quotation mark, and you'll be able to type this entire phrase inside. Because if you leave the space, then the Splunk will understand it as looking for each individual keyword. So if you have space, you need to include the space, you'll just use the quotation marks. So in this case, it says to look for failed password for root. So that's the answer, and it asks how many events we got this time. So that was the first series in the Splunk Basics. So see you in the next video.